April 17th. I know it's been a while. I actually should have gone back and looked at the last video I did just so I could remember what I was talking about, like where I left off. But I didn't do that, so I'm going to have to guess. I know it was before I got my catheter out. Isn't that wonderful? I have 2 lovely scars there now. Yeah, I got that out almost a month ago now. I've been able to take a shower, sleep on my stomach. It's awesome. And they've been using the fistula permanently. Along with that, though, we've had some complications. I have some new bruises that you can see there. They just were having a hard time because they wanted to actually be able to move up higher up my arm, so they give him more room to use the access. That's what they call the fistula, just the access for dialysis. Yeah, they were having a hard time, and then they had this guy come in, this really good looking guy, and I just look like when I go to dialysis, so there was nothing to be done. It was unfortunate. But anyway, he was really nice. And he ultrasounded my arm right there with the tiny little screen. And they saw that there was I forget what he called it, but it's an offshoot to my fistula. The vein that they use grew another vein to it. So it's just like a branching off of it in the middle of my forearm. And when they put the tourniquet on to pop the vein out, like you do when you get blood drawn or whatever, it didn't really pop the vein out because it was that little offshoot was draining the blood. It was stealing the blood. Cecily called it the Al Capone vein because it was stealing my blood. So they're not going to do it in that area because that's really bruised and it needs to heal. But the last couple of times they've been doing it with a smaller needle closer to my elbow, higher up my arm. And if that works, if they can do it there, then it'll be fine. But if they still have complications, then I might have to have surgery to fix the offshoot to the vein, which I'm not really concerned about. I just don't see, if they can make it work, I just don't see it being necessary because I don't really think I'm going to be using my fistula by the end of the year, at least, and maybe even sooner. Because I met with the transplant team last week, met with a surgeon, and he explained how everything was going to go, and seemed really nice and really capable, and I can't pronounce his last name. Yeah, I just met with everybody, and they seemed really optimistic about it, and I have one thing I have to do, one last thing, and it's taken me a while to get that taken care of because in the lab they're scheduled out. They say they're behind and they schedule it way out, and I had to reschedule it. But I'm getting it done on April 27th. Just the biopsy of the thyroid gland, because there's some nodules on there, and my doctor doesn't think it's anything serious because my thyroid's been tested and it's normal. But they're just doing it as a precaution, and yeah, Transplant wants to make sure everything's cool. There's absolutely no risk of infection or cancer or anything. So I have to do that, and I'll be done, and they'll get me on the list. It's been over 2 years now. At the end of March, that was my 2-year mark when I went into the hospital. March 26th. That was a memorable day. I will be done. Well, I'll be done with this. It'll be the next step of getting evaluated. And when I saw the transplant team again, they had to take labs again because the last labs they took were old and they wanted to renew them. They took 17 of those, those little vials, 17 vials of blood. I counted. I just sat there and she put the needle in and she just did one right after the other. Bam, bam, bam. But it was, 17 different vials of blood. I'm assuming that might be what they have to take from the donor. Maybe less, I don't know. But that's a lot. It was a lot of... Yeah, they didn't even take that many last time. In other news, I've been gardening like a crazy person. Well, I'm a beginner, but because I started doing it last year, because I just wanted something to do. I started putting flowers in pots and tomatoes and stuff, but I didn't know what I was doing. I've researched a little more, and I've have a little more experience. So I planted some roses in the front yard, and one of them already has buds on it, so I'm very excited. And some other flowers along the sidewalk, and I have some stuff in pots too. I know what to do with tomatoes now, so hopefully that'll come out better. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'll have to go outside and show everything, because yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, this is the front porch, and I have some stuff in pots, little marigolds, and that's a carnation. It's got, the flowers are kind of limp on it now, but it's got new buds coming in. And there are more marigolds, because I had a lot of marigolds. And, what are they called? The Martha Washington geranium. And these, the cute little things, are called English daisies. They're so cute. I liked them a lot. And they just keep blooming. I also have a couple of hanging baskets. These are going to bloom, and they're going to be coral, pinkish. And this just grows really great. There's a white one and there's a purple one I saw. Okay. Oh, and the marigolds. These are the first things, or not marigolds, primroses. The red one's not doing very well, but these yellow ones, I planted these ages ago when I first saw them at Walmart. But the gold ones are doing pretty well. Now down here, I should have videoed this earlier because the marigolds aren't doing very well. Some of them are, they got new buds on them. They're just, the old buds, the old flowers are starting to wilt. But anyway, marigolds and Martha Washington geraniums all the way down. Then we get into the sunlight. Woo! That's a rose. It's a little wimpier. I got this one from Home Depot. Oh, and I planted baby's breath along the roses because our neighbor said that baby's breath attracts ladybugs, and ladybugs eat aphids, which eat roses. So yeah, this one is going to be it's a pink rose. It's called Tiffany. This one is going to be really cool. This is the first one I picked out. It's red and yellow, and it's going to be, it's called ketchup and mustard. There's tomato plants over there. Toward the street, I planted one more rose, and that's going to be a really deep plum purple, and this is the one that has the buds on it already. That you can see. See, there's a bud right there. There's 7 I counted. More baby's breath. And these are just adorable. They keep blooming. They're like daisies, but they're not. They're different. They have dark centers. And I can't pronounce the name of them, so I call them funky daisies. But anyway, yeah, that's what I planted. And I'll take pictures of the roses when they bloom, because that's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. Anyway, have a good rest of the day and a good week, everybody.